Amigos y amigas, bienvenidos a tu podcast Decisiones que Cuentan. Te saluda Egbert Weatherborn. Estoy muy contento de tenerlos aquí. Otro día más, otro episodio más, discutiendo, analizando, soñando juntos y en general hablando del maravilloso mundo del emprendimiento. Hoy es un día sumamente especial. Es un programa muy esperado por mi persona, sé que por ustedes también, porque hoy nos va a acompañar un amigo de la casa, una persona a la que admiro mucho y que ha logrado muchas cosas y que es un ejemplo, sobre todo para muchos jóvenes que están viendo el mundo artístico como una posibilidad para ellos, que sienten pasión por no solamente por el tema del canto, sino las artes escénicas. Y hoy pues tenemos a Aloe Blacc. Antes de que entre al programa, decirles que, como siempre, pueden sintonizarnos a través del canal de YouTube de Movida Hispana y pues en mis redes sociales, Instagram principalmente, Egbert WP. Y sin más, quiero dar la bienvenida a Aloe Blacc. Aloe, welcome. Bienvenido a Decisiones que Cuentan. ¿Cómo estás?
Estoy bien, gracias.
Thank you so much, Aloe. For those of you who doesn't know this, Aloe Blacc is Panamanian because his parents are Panamanian. He was born and raised in the U.S. And, well,
Y también yo tengo mi cédula.
Y también tiene cédula. Se me había olvidado, cierto. Cédula E. Comienza con E. It starts with an E, right? You know, that's Panamanian or PE, Panamanian born abroad, I think.
I have PE, I think.
Yes, PE. So, yes, Aloe, it's Panamanian. And as I said, he's a friend. And we have the same name. So, many things. But in general, you know, this program is going to be in English. Este programa va a ser en inglés. However, we're going to have subtitles. Vamos a tener subtítulos en español para que todos puedan entender. So, I want to start with the first question, Aloe. Tell me a little bit about your childhood, like being born in the U.S., born and raised in the U.S., but from Panamanian immigrant parents. Like, can you share with our audience a little bit about that?
Yeah, my parents raised my sisters and I in Southern California. We were 1 hour south of Los Angeles in a small suburb called Laguna Hills. And my dad was in the military. He was a Marine. And instead of traveling around the world, we settled in one spot and he would travel around without us. The neighborhood we grew up in was really calm and quiet, but it was the weekends were loud because we would go and visit all of the other Panamanian immigrants who were in town, and we'd have parties. And so the music was loud, the food was great, the dominoes was loud. Everybody was playing and enjoying each other. You know, I had a little bit of a Panamanian experience outside of Panama growing up here in Southern California.
Nice. Great to hear. And yes, that's the way we are as Panamanians. We're very happy, we love music. And yes, that's the way it is. Aloe Blacc, many people, wonder this. Actually, my daughter, who is maybe your biggest belief, she knows every song that you have produced so far. She's very happy. She wanted to be here, but she couldn't. Why? She was asking me the other day, why Aloe Blacc? That carries have a very strong identity, that your artistic name. Could you please explain us a little bit about how did you choose Aloe Blacc as your artistic name, and what do you want to, convey with it?
Yeah, hip hop was the genre that I started in. Hip hop artists often choose a name other than their legal and government name that their parents may have given them. I chose Aloe because I consider my style as a hip hop artist smooth, and Black to represent the African diaspora. So I chose Aloe Blacc representing the style of music I was making at the time. When I started singing, the name followed me into my singing career. you know, I think it fits. I like it. It represents health. It represents smooth. It represents cool and calm. And I feel like that's what my music does.
Okay. Wake Me Up. I want to talk a little bit about Wake Me Up. I think from my perspective as a fan, as somebody who likes music, likes your music, I feel it represented like a very important moment in your career, recording Wake Me Up with Avicii. Could you tell us a little bit about what significance did, that Wake Me Up had for your career? And now that you analyze in retrospective and, everything that doing that with Avicii has meant for you.
Yeah. The song really helped make my career blossom. I received so much more attention, so many more fans, and so much more respect from the industry and abroad. Working with Avicii was a great opportunity to collaborate with a brilliant artist who had a clear direction and understanding of his voice and what he wanted to convey in music. And so, I'm forever grateful for that opportunity, and I hope that his soul may rest in peace. I will do what I can to continue the legacy with this song and the music.
Okay. Talking about the music industry, in our program, Decisiones que Cuentan, we believe in fostering growth mindset, and growth mindset understood as the ability to learn, adapt, and, face challenges with resilience and stoicism. For you as an artist, have you ever come across or faced challenges, and how has resilience and growth mindset helped you to navigate those moments of challenge?
Yeah, resilience and growth mindset are extremely important. I have faced challenges. I feel like, first of all, growth mindset coming from a place of abundance, understanding that there's more for you to gain than there is for you to try to hold on to. And the more that you try to hold on to, the less you will be able to gain. And then resilience, they go hand in hand. You have to have resilience. You have to believe that failure is not failure. It is just learning. And so if you are approaching opportunities and obstacles as chances to learn, then your concept of failure gets flipped upside down. And you find that you're way more resilient because you recognize, oh, the game is for me to learn how to manage and navigate this situation. And you use all the resources around you to be able to move forward. It's going to be hard to build anything if you don't have that resilient mindset and if you don't have that growth mindset. One of the things that I think about quite often, especially in the music business, I've had these challenges, is if you are afraid, you need to run toward the fear. Everything you want is on the other side of the fear. Everything that you already have is on the existing side of the fear. If you're comfortable with what you already have, good for you. Game over. You're done. You don't have to do any more. But if there is a fear, it suggests to me that you're not done. It suggests to me that you have to get to the other side of that fear. And resilience will get you there. Growth mindset will get you there.
I love it. We personally, and that's the philosophy of Decisiones que Cuentan, to, help people to get, face their fears, get into the fear zone, get uncomfortable. And basically, there is also an expression that we use that I like to use personally: is get comfort with discomfort. Like it's good when you learn to live with that discomfort. It helps you take things to the next level.
You have to be comfortable with it. You have to learn how to manage it, or let it fuel you. You know, there are always going to be challenges. This is life. Everything that is living is confronted with a challenge, and we can overcome those challenges if we just push through with our eye on the ultimate goal. You know, the only people who don't make it are the people who quit. You'll eventually make it. And the thing is, you have to also be open to growth can happen in multiple directions in 360 degrees. So if you think up is the only way, that's fine, but be open to the pivot as you go up, because your dial will shift and the new up may not be what you thought it was. The world is always moving. You know, you can't dictate where the world goes. You can dictate where you go based on how the world is moving. So be open, you know.
Love it. 100% on that. Okay, so many of you don't know, but Aloe, it's more than an artist. Aloe, it's putting efforts and resources to change the world in different ways, not only through his artistic career. Aloe, I want to talk about something that I had the opportunity actually to connect with you and try to help somehow in the process, and I hope that things are moving in a positive direction now. You partner with researchers from the College of Pharmacy of the University of Houston in efforts to find a potential compound to block the COVID and SARS viruses in the human body. Could you please share with our audience, like how hard that, what stage those efforts are right now? Because this is very important for humanity, trying to find ways of, fighting against this type of pandemic conditions.
Yeah, I started a company called Major Incorporated, named after my father's final rank as a major in the Marine Corps. The company is a drug discovery and development company. We are working to solve the biggest problems possible, and we think that infectious disease is one of those big problems. SARS-CoV-2 certainly was, and I had the idea about blocking the ACE2 protein receptor from insult by the SARS-CoV-2 spike protein. I found the scientists that were working on this idea. I sponsored some research and it was successful, and we together built a company to move that forward. Now, in the process of building this company, we were able to prove our concept in live mammals that we can block the virus from entering cells, which helps to eliminate the possibility for infection. It does not eliminate the possibility for exposure, but the idea is that we want to reduce the viral load such that you do not succumb to the disease and present with symptoms or with spreadable symptoms, if that makes any sense. And so as we were pushing for funding, the pandemic was waning and the mortality rates started dropping. So it wasn't such a problem anymore. Investors didn't see positive return on investing in this concept for COVID. Now, what is really special about the scientist that I have partnered with, Dr. Gomika Udugamasoria from the University of Houston, is that he's developed a platform for drug discovery that allows us to do exactly what we did for SARS-CoV-2 for multiple other diseases and indications. If we were focused on another virus, we could find the molecule that does similar blocking activity. But because Gomica has been focused on cancer drug discovery for 25 years. We decided that the pivot for our company is to focus on cancer because that's his expertise. There is an entire ecosystem already for cancer that we can plug into. And it is, from a business standpoint for investors, an opportunity for them to see a return on their investment because there's a market for cancer, whereas infectious disease, you're kind of waiting for the next pandemic and we have no idea when that's going to happen, you know?
Awesome. No, that's great to hear. And and well, cancer has been one of the medical conditions that have been affecting, several generations. So hopefully, there's something that can be achieved on that end. I read also about malaria no more. You were involved.
Yeah, I spent some time early in my career working with Malaria No More as an ambassador. Yeah. Recently reconnected with them just so I can be helpful in telling the world that we can end this disease that exists in some of the lower income economies around the world, to try to spread awareness for donations. Yeah. Since I started working with them, a child was killed by malaria every minute.
Wow.
And that's what it was when I first started working with them. Now it has reduced and it's every 2 minutes. So half the amount of deaths over the past 10 years, which is great. What we want to do is make it so that it doesn't exist anymore. Almost like with polio, the vaccine was able to eradicate the disease such that it was controlled, completely controlled. And when you think about malaria in Panama during the canal building, of course, malaria was one of the diseases that destroyed a lot of the workers, killed a lot of the workers. But with the right kind of attention, you can manage and then eventually control a disease so that it is no longer rampant. And the idea is to get malaria under control in all of the affected areas. So I'm eager to find ways that my drug discovery company can be instrumental in malaria as well, once we are able to be effective with cancer.
Okay, great. Aloe, success means something different to everyone. Every person will have their own definition. How would you define success in your life and career?
Certainly means something different to everyone. For me, success means happiness. And so if you are happy with what you've created, if I'm happy with what I created, I feel successful. That's my definition. And right now with music, I feel like I've achieved multiple successes. Very happy with what I've created. I keep developing new goals. So there's new benchmarks for success that I have to get to the happy place. With biotech, I am eager to have a medicine that is available to cure people who are sick, whether it's cancer or infectious disease or immune dysregulation. So, no, I don't feel like I've achieved success with that yet, but there are micro successes that lead to the final, goal. And those micro successes are identifying opportunities that can help the company grow. We've been accepted into a cancer accelerator in Texas. That's a success because that cancer accelerator is a very exclusive kind of program. And in order to get into it, you have to apply and make your presentation convincing for the team that is going to accept the company. So, these little micro successes are all additive to hopefully achieve the ultimate success. But again, happiness. If you're unhappy, it is it's an element that can cascade into many pitfalls.
Yeah.
And so, and I don't mean to say that, you know, the concept of, you mentioned before, discomfort, get comfortable with discomfort. Um, I put them on in different places, you know. The discomfort doesn't mean unhappy. You can have discomfort in trying to achieve a goal, and still recognize that you're that you're not unhappy. You're just working on this project, trying to achieve this goal. Man, some people would say, you know, success is a dollar amount. There's a certain amount of money you have to make.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of people who have money and they're not happy.
Correct.
A lot of people who have money were successful in business, terrible at building a family, you know, successful at making money, terrible at managing their money. And so
It's relative.
I like the idea that happiness is suggestive of a holistic success. You're successful on many parameters in your life.
Well said. Well said. I agree 100% on that. Aloe, last October, unfortunately, your father passed away. I had the opportunity to interact with him, you know, via WhatsApp a few times. I know he was an important figure in your life. How has his legacy influenced your identity as an artist, as a human being? How would you weight that impact in your life in general?
Wow, my dad was a very upstanding individual, honest, loyal, and hardworking, high endurance, intelligent. And so what I have learned from him and the character that I present, the person that I am, very much in his wake, in his shadow, in his legacy, wanting to be hardworking, wanting to be honest, wanting to be trustworthy, loyal, you know, somebody who is dependable and is always fighting for the right things. You know, that's who he was. And that's what I'll continue to be.
I've followed your career since we met back in 2007, and you know, I've seen you close to many influential figures, like big names in the political and artistic world. There are a couple of ones that comes to mind: Quincy Jones, the late Quincy Jones, and Barack Obama, for example, and Michelle Obama. You know how those relationships that you have throughout your career have shaped your views in general of life and of the artistic, world in general.
You know, I recognize that everybody has the opportunity to be somebody great. It is really, you think about the beginnings of these people that you mentioned, Quincy Jones in particular, born to a poor family in Chicago, south side of Chicago, to become one of the greatest composers, musicians, songwriters, and public figures of our time. You would imagine that those kinds of figures are, social positions are only reserved for people who are already born into celebrity. It's not true. The folks who are already born into it oftentimes take it for granted and squander the privilege and access that they have. The people who have to struggle and fight for it, and are smart enough to learn from the challenges, are the ones who ultimately we look at and say, wow, that's a self-made success story. Same with Barack Obama, brilliant folks, brilliant person who wanted to do right and was able to do right and was recognized for it and was almost catapulted into the position of candidacy. And I think about him being in a similar way, like Martin Luther King Jr., who the community basically told Martin Luther King Jr., the elders said, you are the person who has to lead this movement. You have the energy, the voice, the charisma, the speech giving ability. You're the only one right now for this time. And, you know, I think I look at those figures and those characters and they make me think you should never play small. You can be as big as you want to be. You can be anything you want to be. You just have to do the work.
Great words. We are coming to an end from this interview. There are many of our viewers, maybe their sons or daughters, who may be considering pursuing an artistic career. Actually, my son, it's one of them, is doing some drama at high school. Based on your experiences, what would be your advice to these members of our viewership who may be considering pursuing an artistic career, either as a singer or as any other position? But what would be your main recommendation to them?
I would recommend what Quincy Jones recommended to me. Study the greats, copy everything they do, and then build your style, your presentation, and your method from what you've learned from your favorites, from those greats. The other advice I would offer is that art is an opportunity to share and reflect and be creative and play. Not always will it be a career, but it can always be fun. I started music when I was very young. I never looked at it like a career. It was always for fun. I was lucky enough that even though I went to college, even though I went into corporate America and had a job, that I was able to pursue or land in the position of having music as a career. But I still feel like it is for fun. I just happen to make money doing it. And if I had to go get another job tomorrow, I would do it because I know I will always have music for fun. My art is to communicate and to collaborate and to share joy. And sometimes doing it as a career or for business or to make a living can take the joy out of it. So, protect your joy and keep it for fun.
Well said. Thank you so much, Aloe. I'm very happy for the opportunity to do this, have this conversation. We've talked in the past, and I knew that talking to you about your career was going to bring many positive messages to our audience. We are about that. Decisiones que Cuentan. We always want to help people grow, improve as human beings, be the best version of themselves. And I think many of the things that you have mentioned today will help them to, reflect on their life and put their efforts into the right things and into the right direction. Before we finish, I want to give you your certificate of participation. So here you have it. Decisiones que Cuentan, certificado de reconocimiento otorgado a Aloe Blacc en reconocimiento a su valiosa participación como invitado especial en el podcast Decisiones que Cuentan, compartiendo su experiencia, conocimiento y perspectivas sobre la estrategia del branding personal en el mundo artístico, inspirando y empoderando a nuestra audiencia. And also I have a present for you, which is this beautiful mug. branded with Decisiones que Cuentan.
Mhm.
But there is a condition. This is the only present. You know, I've never seen this ever, like a present. But there is a condition for the present to be given. I know you follow us, and I want you to tell us what's the slogan of Decisiones que Cuentan. What's our tagline or slogan? You remember?
Yep, there to create your own luck.
Correcto. Great. Dare to create your own luck. Atrévete a crear tu propia suerte. With that, we finish. Con esto terminamos, amigos y amigas. Thank you, Aloe. Thank you so much, brother, for joining us. All the best. I know. I'm sorry. You are about to launch your last recorded album, right? Studio album,
Yes.
Stand Together. Can you tell just briefly about it? Because I think that's very important. Many of our audience I want to know more.
Stand Together is an album that I recorded in order to bring people more together and connect us. Each song is inspired by a positive social mission or a nonprofit organization that's doing amazing work within their community. So I'm very proud of the songs because they are like mini anthems, sonic legacies for these really, really great organizations and really important social missions.
Great. Perfect. So you guys know, everybody, todos, próximo álbum de Aloe Blacc, Stand Together, estar juntos. Gracias nuevamente por acompañarnos y como le digo todos los días al final de nuestros programas, atrévete a crear tu propia suerte. Nos vemos.